Emily and I had been planning for months our trip to the Grand Canyon so that we could drown in the ancient aura of its panoramic views. It was a romantic getaway break for us. What else could we want except for the both of us to escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life and enjoy the precious gift of life in the massive natural surroundings of the Grand Canyon? Eager to explore everything about the canyon, we arrived there early in the morning. It was raining profusely. As the day passed by, we grew increasingly tired. I was driving a rental Jeep, and due to the rainstorm and darkness, I got off the train. So now we were tired and lost. Emily suggested we should take a break. I saw the shady spot right down the road to rest for a while. Emily opened the Jeep door and slammed it closed with frustration. I knew it was me who led us here due to my lack of concentration. So I rested my head on the steering wheel and mumbled, "Emily, I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'll make this right, I promise." But Emily didn't respond. So I tried to look behind her seat out of the backseat window to find her. At that very instant, Emily thumped her hands on the driver's side window, spooking me out of my seat. I got terrified when she started yelling, "David, get out! There's something strange in the air!" When I got out, what I saw was a thick, black, cloud-like creature covered in a cloak hanging just above our Jeep. We started shivering, got in the Jeep again quickly, and felt a sudden sense of unease. "David, did you feel that?" Emily asked in a trembling voice, to which I responded with a nod and my eyes scanning the whole area. "Something's not right here. I can feel it too," I said. "We should keep moving." So we set off once again. The negative energy around us was growing stronger and stronger with every minute that passed. It was as if the canyon itself was alive and pushing us with a dark force to an end from which we could barely come out alive. Suddenly, something struck the windshield of our Jeep, and Emily felt a chill running down her spine. Then she clutched my hand with a tight grip. Emily was drained, and she started sobbing out of fear, covering her face with her hands. "We need to turn back," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's too late," I replied in a trembling voice. Suddenly, we were surrounded by darkness. A thick fog enveloped us like a cloak. I could see a dark, shady figure roaming around our Jeep in a thick, colliginous fog, with its red eyes glowing right at us. Emily screamed, her heart pounding in her chest as she struggled to see through the swirling fog. I took my baseball bat and got out of the Jeep to see if it was some kind of animal or creature. "What do you want? Leave us alone!" I yelled at the red, glowing eyes. I heard a loud howl tearing through the darkness and saw the ghoulish creature locking its eyes on me with a grimy smile on its face behind the cloak. It disappeared like a smoke in the wind. I turned back, and I saw that the door of the Jeep was opened, and Emily wasn't anywhere to be seen. I was trapped in the middle of nowhere without any apparent knowledge of the outside apparition. "Emily? Where are you?" I cried out loud with my voice echoing off the canyon walls. There was no answer. I was standing there alone, and Emily was somewhere outside, lost in the darkness. I stumbled blindly through the fog, and my heart was pounding as I searched for any sign of her presence. I heard a strange whisper echoing in the air, voices that were calling my name. It appeared to be Emily's voice, but in a deeper tone. I tried to ignore it, focusing on my own footsteps as I stumbled through the darkness. And then finally I saw it. It was a terrifying creature looming in the distance. Its dark shape was continuously shifting and twisting in the shadows. It was a ghoul, a type of demon that's supposedly present in the deserts. No one can even imagine an encounter with such a creature, this dangerous, evil entity that was now physically evident in front of my own eyes in the Grand Canyon. I wanted to run from it and free myself from the evil, but I was frozen, with my body shivering continuously. My eyes were locked on the demon's glowing red gaze. And in my mind, I was just thinking about Emily hopefully being safe somewhere in this canyon. It spoke to me. A deep, low voice coming somewhere from behind the darkness with a rasping hiss that sent shivers down my spine. "You shouldn't have come here," it said in its deep, resonant voice. I tried to resist it and to fight against the demon's power, but it was too strong and filled with an ancient power, making it too much to defeat. I got into my Jeep and I started it up. After a moment, I turned the lights on and I drove across the fog and straight down the road. I drove fast. And while driving, I was constantly looking in the rearview mirror to see if the demon was still following. In this pursuit, I caught sight of Emily. She was ambling towards a large cave in the canyon. I was so happy to see her, and worried at the same time. I swiftly turned the Jeep towards her, and by the time I reached where I had first seen her, she had entered the cave. I kept the Jeep on with its light facing the cave's mouth, and I entered it. As I went deep into the cave, the light got dull, and I could barely see Emily. She was slowly walking, barefoot and unconsciously. I ran towards her. While I was following her and running, I toppled over a stone and fell hard. Just as I fell, there was a crooked giggling, as if something was enjoying my suffering. After falling, I hit my head and everything went black. I was unconscious for some time, and when I finally came to, I saw a heart-wrenching scene of Emily walking deep into the cave with the same ghoul demon beside her. I started crying and shouted, "Emily, come back!" I lost all my hope, and I couldn't figure out what to do at this point. I followed her anyway, and I saw a fire light up in the cave. And Emily was now sitting on her knees, and her hands were up in the air as if she was worshipping the demon. I ran to her and shook her. "Emily, this is not you! What are you doing? Emily, wake up!" I cried. She turned her eyes towards me, and in her eyes, I could see her agony, as if she was dying for help. A teardrop fell from her eye. I grabbed her waist and picked her up in my arms. The whole cave echoed with loud screams of the demon trying to stop us. But I didn't stop. I just ran to my Jeep, put her in it, and drove. I didn't stop until the sun rose. She was completely unconscious the entire time throughout the way. She was barely breathing, and her eyes were staring blankly into the sky. She seemed so lost and consumed by that darkness with the Grand Canyon. I took her straight to the hospital. And from that day onward, Emily hasn't spoken a word about that incident because of the trauma she went through. I've been taking care of her ever since then. Legend has it that the canyon is still haunted by the demon's malevolent energy, a force that feeds on the fear and desperation of those who dare to venture into its depths. And so, to this day, hikers and tourists are warned to stay away, to avoid the canyon at all costs, lest they too fall prey to the demon's grasp.